can still remember what it was like the first time I stepped into a race car. The sound of the engine, the anticipation, but I never could have imagined where this journey would take me. My father once told me that racing is just like life. You have to stay on your toes, because you never know what's around the next corner. My name is Bill Watson, and this is my story.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
If you're an auto racing fan, when the calendar reads late May, there's only two venues you really want to be at. And since in the iRacing universe, planes don't fly and ships don't sail to Monaco, by process of elimination, your destination of choice has got to be Indianapolis, which is where we find ourselves today. From the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 10 coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship. It was a long time coming, but last round at Imola, Germany's Thomas Seeger finally picked up a well-deserved victory. Xavi Ross continued performing his impression of Sisyphus in high heels, making a job much harder than it needed to be. Nevertheless, the Spaniard remains very much in the championship conversation. And no shows again from Mark Usher and Antonio Poveda, as any burning hopes of a championship for them now doused. All season long, the racing has been both exciting and strategic, and we expect nothing different today. And you can see all the simulated Williams FW31 road course action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on the iRacing Esports Network. Hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. Up in the broadcast booth to bring you our Words Eye View, Stefan Slocker, joined by yours truly, Bill Soups On. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, armed with cameras locked and loaded by Dougie Beard. All right, Stefan, to be clear, we are at Indy, but we will be racing in a clockwise direction today, which means a road course.
And Soup, contrary to real-life track, this layout is like driving on ice. Some would even say this track still has character, unlike the new road course. You slip and slide, jump and bump, and if you're lucky, you're also really fast. The road course itself obviously isn't as old as the oval. Its life began in 2000. This, however, is the layout from 2007. 13 turns are located around its 2.5 miles, setting the car up is tricky as ever. Slow turns, medium speed turns, and a full throttle portion of about 60% make exciting racing guaranteed. Even though the long full throttle portion around the oval part, we still have a rather slow average of around 130 miles per hour. But let's take a few steps down the grandstand to the track and send you on board our GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Scott Newton and the GSRC Williams, so let's do a lap around Indianapolis. Down the front stretch, this is by far the fastest part of the circuit. With the heavy braking into turn 1, this is going to be the most popular spot to get a pass done. But this little chicane is slow enough that it requires some throttle modulation, and the overeager might find themselves facing the wrong way. Up into 4, it's an awkward entry, making overtakes difficult. You'll blast through the kink of 5, and then you've got the patience trying turn 6. The unique thing about this hairpin is that you'll stay hugged tight to the inside to give yourself a better run onto the backstretch. But anyone who gets greedy and lets it swing out past the track boundaries will suffer a slowdown penalty. While you might sometimes see pass attempts down into 8, it's a swifter corner than you'd expect. This set of S's also tightens as you go, meaning staying on the racing line will be important to your lap time. Eventually, you'll reach the most critical corner of the track, turn 11. You won't be lifting from here to the line, so a good exit winds up having a big effect not just on your lap, but whether you can attack or defend. You don't even have to swing out wide to carry your speed through here. It's all about shortening the distance through the final bank turn by staying right down to the inside. But hopefully, if you've kept it all together, you've now finished a lap around Indianapolis.
Joe Peak doing what he does so well, and that is taking and talking the viewers around a road course. This time it is the road course at Indy. Now, to help the viewers understand the championship race, GSRC is doing something unique. We're showing you both the best of 8 point standings and the 4 drop net point standings. And depending on whether you're left or right-handed, whoever you think is the point leader is very much up for debate. Let's go ahead and look at the best of 8 points coming off the aforementioned win at Imola. Thomas Ziegler moves up to the top with 1,111 points. That's 72 ahead of Xavi Raz. Now you can see Danilo moved around Marco Sanfilippo. They swap positions, and Antoni Poveda is well back in 5th. Now note that it's Ziegler up in front and Raz 72 back. Let's go ahead and look now at the 4 drop races. This is if you have to throw away your 4 worst events, who do you see on top? Look how it is different. Here it's Xavi Raz. Now the total is only 917 because he's not scored out on as many events. Notice where Ziegler is. He's way down there in 5th, 158 points back. So I don't know, again, who's ahead? It's hard to say. It depends on, again, if you're left or right-handed, how you want to look at it. Glass half full, glass half empty. Marco Sanfilippo is in 2nd. Notice Mark Usher is in 3rd. He's won every event he's raced in, but he's missed 5 of them. So that's why he's sitting so well. I don't know if there's enough time for him to get back up and be a threat for the championship now that he's actually scored on a 0 races. That he throws away 4 no-shows, and then he has to score the 1 no-show that is extra. So there you have it. We'll see how that plays out. Your guess is as good as mine. We'd like to know your opinion on that. So if you who you think is ahead, let us know on the YouTube chat and tell us what you think on that. Here's something much less ambiguous, though. Let's go ahead and have Stefan talk about the race details.
Yeah, and after that complicated drop and no drop standings, I'm not gonna complicate you with any fractions of the schedule today. It's round 10 of 12. As already mentioned, 4 drop weeks are handed out to these guys in the batteries not included championship. Today's race length, 48 laps. They have to do pit stop as always. Setups completely open, incident camp, standard for iRacing, 17 incidents. Not expecting anyone to run out of incidents today. And the points they award in the BNI Championship are the official iRacing points.
Talk about iRacing, the best of the best in the iRacing World Championship, as well as many of the top private leagues, like the one you're watching right now, are showcased right here on the iRacing Esports Network. If you haven't done so yet, make sure that you subscribe. GSRC is proud to be part of the IESN stable of broadcasters. Let's take a quick look at the weather here in Indianapolis, see what it's going to do to the track. Steph?
This weather, it's hot and heavy. 116 Fahrenheit on the track. We have partly cloudy skies, 81 Fahrenheit in the air. Winds, bit unusual for Indianapolis, only 2 miles per hour from the north to northwest. Humidity 44%, but keep an eye on that track temperature. That's gonna propose quite some problems to the drivers out here today.
Okay, Mom and Dad, we've done our homework. Can we please take a look at the action on the track? And they do. They say yes. So let's see who's here today. Well, the big names are here. Xavi Raz and Thomas Ziegler is here. As practice is still going on. Oh, qualifying. Yeah, no Mark Usher. And as we look at this, am I looking at this qualifying done, or no, I'm misreading this. There's still a little bit of time. Nope. Yeah. There we go. We have a lot of people putting in time. There's only one car out there on screen right now. Also here today, Antonio Poveda. Good for him. Not sure if he's still in the championship hunt, but he'll be a competitor for sure. Other names, I Am Keeman is here. Fast, but a bit erratic at times.
And the car we're following here, Thomas Seen, I think that is pronounced, racing out of Pennsylvania. He's right now just putting in some practice laps. He already did his put in his 2 laps, a 109.209, his fastest out of the 2.
Very small field here today. We have 15 drivers, and this is not a split. There's only one split. So I think maybe the iRacing Indy 500 that is going on probably sucked a little bit of the attendance a little bit here, but still a good field. Oh, look at that beautiful Indianapolis skyline. Beautiful day to go racing. Very hot on track. Qualifying is done. We're just waiting for that to wrap up. A few more minutes before they actually grid up. 15 cars here today, 13 put in qualifying times. Mustafa Erden and Michel Ursel did not. Watch out for Ursel down there in the number 13. He will be quick.
Yeah, and I think Erden has some problems because in the last few moments he disconnected and connected about 3 times so far.
Okay, let's go to the grid right now. On the front row, let's take it a row at a time, Stefan. I'll take Xavi Ross on the pole. He's going to be flanked by Marco Sanfilippo.
On Tony Ortiz Poveda in the second row alongside him, Thomas Ziegler.
Told you to watch out for I Am Keeman. He sits 5th. He's going to be inside of David Cudmore.
Danilo Sanfilippo only down in 7th place. Alongside him will be the Spaniard of Iker Estefania.
Lars Hung sits in 9th. He's going to be flanked by Stefan Stelstenpool.
Thomas Senior just outside the top 10 in 11th. Alongside him, Mehdi Mokrani.
That was Jan Stelstenpool, by the way. In the Baker's dozen position, it is Jerry Holcomb. And in 14th is Mustafa Erden. And then the last car out there we talked about, Michel Ussel not putting in a time. He is out on the track though. So 14 drivers out there, each one inside. And Williams FW31. Engines start to harmonize. You know what to do.
Green, green, green.
Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows, because the
Oh!
are. Oh no! We have a bookmark of this one. We'll take a look at it. There was an incident on the very beginning.
That was Poveda. Poveda on its roof.
Yep.
He is out of this race.
Out in front, it is Xavi Ross. Marco Sanfilippo in second. Let me change that. It's Marco Sanfilippo in second as my timing and scoring catches up.
Danilo Sanfilippo at this point in time 6th place. So he himself also, 5th place actually. So he himself gained about 2 positions off the start.
And it was the driver from third with a great start from Antonio Poveda. He was out in 3rd position, but the car just went left on him. He put it on the wall, and it goes over. We'll come back and take a look at that one a little bit later when the action allows. They work their way through the oval corner number 1 now. Back out onto the main section. It's the final corner. They're going to come across completing the first lap. It is Xavi Ross. Marco Sanfilippo behind him. And Thomas Ziegler in 3rd.
Oh, and I Am Keeman had a weird coming together with Thomas.
Poveda is still upside down on the track. His real wings are spinning. As the leaders go by. Hopefully Antonio is okay.
To finish up on it, I Am Keeman, he's right now, he went into pit lane, weirdly enough. I don't know what happened there, just out of the last turn, he started to brake on the racing line to get into the pit lane. And he got collected by Thomas Seen. No damage to his car, but I Am Keeman crabbing really hard right now down the pit lane. And he just disconnected.
He's done. ahead and look at. We're going to look at this battle here for 4th position. A good run from Danilo Filippo as he gets a run on David Cudmore. I think he has the momentum to get this done. Cudmore takes the defensive line down into, but it's not going to be enough. I think that Sanfilippo's going to be able to finish the job on the outside. Let's see if he cuts it down in there. No, and he does get it done. So move Danilo up into 4th. Hector Estefania in the 6th position. Lars Hung in 7th.
And seems like Thomas Seen actually has retained quite some damage from the contact with Arm Keyman, so he's now into pit lane, also crapping himself. So that is already 4 cars that are pretty much out of this race.
With a small field to start and then attrition early on. Opportunity for drivers to vulture several spots. Up in front, it is Xavi Ross. Coming across, he's going to get credit with leading lap number 3 as well as he's led from the start. Marco Sanfilippo about a second behind him. All right, now, as the action settles down on the track, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay from the start. Now, this involved Antonio Poveda, who was gridded in 3rd position. You'll see him on the outside there to the on the left. 3rd car on screen left. And there you see that it just veers to the left. It goes into the outside wall, comes back across. Not sure if anyone got a piece of him. We go on board.
Yeah, that is. On the upshift, he just loses the car on the spinning wheels. And who is that car that collected him? That was Iron Keyman, so he already had damage from there.
We ride on board with IM. See if we can take a look at it. Here we go.
Also, David Cudmore got the rear wheel in his face there.
Here we go. You see that they get the grid. Yep, and he gets a piece of it. So while we were gone, we're not missing anything. Ross, Sanfilippo, and Seeger still racing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but
nice little battle for 5th.
Danilo Sanfilippo is actually not catching the top 3 guys, so he's running away from the guys behind. That is David Cudmore and Iker Estefania. But yeah, he's running away from these 2 guys, but as I said, not catching the guys ahead, so he might find himself in pretty much no man's land soon.
Little by little, Estefania in the number 6 car racing in 6th position has been closing in on the back of Cudmore. Honestly, it's going to take me a little time to wrap my head around how things really are here, as we've lost so many big-name drivers. Keyman is out, Poveda is out. I expected them to be racing up front. Let's drop back a little bit farther to look at this battle for 8th. This involves Jan Steltenpool. Here comes a run. Now, we thought that Ussel would be good, and it took him a while. I think he's going to get this pass made. He has a great run out of the final corner. He's going to duck to the inside, get this pass made going into 1. There you have it.
Stops it on the dime, make the pass happen. He is now in 8th place. Great pass by Michel Ussel there.
He's got about 6 seconds to get up to Hung, who races in 7th. Back half of your drivers there. Mukrani in 10th position all by himself. There you see Ussel coming at you. Eleven cars on the track right now. Go ahead, Steph.
Just a quick update on Thomas Seen. I did count him out a little bit too fast. He is still racing in 12th place, but he is about to get lapped in, probably about 3 laps.
Oh, good for you. I said 11, but I guess he did come back out there. I counted him out as well. All right, we ride on board with the driver in 2nd. This is the Markle version of the Sanfilippo brothers. You know, Ziegler's coming on him.
Little by little, he is coming, but there's still quite a gap between the two. And passing is going to be hard here. You have the fast straight down into turn 1, but apart from that, you have this backstretch, and that's already pretty much sealed the deal. Not only because how this layout plays out, but also because of how short it is. It is, for a road course, very short. Even for a Formula 1 track, it is very short. So passing opportunities, they are not plentiful, but they are gonna come at you very fast.
Interesting enough, as we look at the driver in third, Ross really has been able to drive away from Sanfilippo. He's been able to hang in there. Sanfilippo back by about a second and a half. Ziegler close enough in there as well, back by about a second from Sanfilippo. Let's drop back and take a look at fifth position. And about another second separating these two guys. This is Cudmore and Estefania. And how about Lars Hung back there in seventh, hanging in there as well.
Yeah, Estefania, he's making it a little bit hard on himself, as already mentioned in the pre-race show. It is hard to set up the car, and it's easy to make mistakes here because of how low grip this track is. And Iker Estefania is proving exactly that. He's making little mistakes every now and then. Thus, he is not able to keep up with David Cudmore, who keeps it steady, keeps it running, keeps it on this gray stuff pointing forward. And as long as he does it, Iker Estefania will have a little bit of problem overtaking him because, yes, he is faster, but he's also making the mistakes.
Good battle going on there. Let's check in on car number 12, Thomas Seen. He just got lapped by Xavier Ross, and now it won't be long. This will be a little more interesting. Ross caught Sainz right on the straightaway, had no problem. I think maybe Sanfilippo and Seeker might catch him at a different part of the track. There, you see Thomas got caught up in the incident early on. Day's not going quite the way he is expected. They might get lucky as well, as it looks like he's going to be able to stay in front through this little twisty section here. When they get back out onto the oval, they might be able to make the pass without much of a problem. One more corner sends them back out onto the oval section, and sure enough, no problem here. And in fact, it may actually work out for Sanfilippo, as he'll get a bit of a tow. Whee! The gap, though, now has to Ross has opened up to 2.3 seconds. Seeger back in third. He'll need to work on a sign as well.
Yeah, and Seeger's actually quite close now to a scene, so that might actually pose some problems right now, and getting held up a little bit through the Omega already. Let's see if he makes room for Seeger to pass down the backstretch.
There you see Sanfilippo on screen, and then those two in the back. Yep. Woo.
Thomas seen there lifting off the throttle quite heavily.
Yeah. And Seeger said, okay, I guess you want me to go, so he went. We'll take a quick look at this one. Seeger in the kind of charcoal color machine.
It does seem like that Seeger didn't really expect that. So, yeah, he really made a very late move there.
Come back live on the German driver.
Lost himself about 7/10 up to Sanfilippo behind Thomas Seen. So, yeah, he has to work up again. I think the gap is now up to about a second between the two. So he has to work. He still has to draft, but he has to work back up to try to challenge Marco Sanfilippo for that P2.
So what you have is the three drivers up in front in a bit of a battle. That's Ross, Sanfilippo, and Seeger. Then you got a driver all by himself, Danilo Sanfilippo. Then we go back to this battle we're looking at. This is really a three-car battle. It has Cudmore involved in it. It depends on how fast Estefania is, whether it's a three-car or two-car battle. Right now, Estefania a little bit behind. Lars Hung doing a great job of sticking on the back of Estefania.
Yeah, guess what? The last lap from Estefania, 108.9 compared to a 109.6 of Lars Hung. And Ika Estefania once again turned 4, made a big mistake, lost himself a second up to Cutmore, and he's right on the back, right in front of Lars Hung again. So
Yeah.
Ika Estefania really has to pick up, stop slacking around, especially in turn 4, or he's gonna get under pressure from Lars Hung, who tries to look on the inside, lifts again, does not want to do it. So he stays for now in P6.
I've had the pleasure of watching Hung race for quite a while now. He's a very, very conservative driver. If the opportunity is there, he will take it, but he does not like to force the issue. He prides himself on doing something, racing very clean, keeping the car pointed in the right direction. We've been jumping you around a little bit, so it's fun to stay right here and take a look at this one. You can see some of the interesting different racing lines that Hung was trying to employ there, and he loses a little bit of time on the exit out of that final right-hander. Looks like he's close enough here. Take another shot at it if he wants it to get into the toe and make a stab down into the first corner. They come back out onto the oval. The interval just half a second back. You'll be able to see Hung gather him up. Might be too far back to get there before that first corner. Closing now in the toe, knocking off tenths of a second, but going to be too far back to make the stab. These drivers battle for 6th. Both up 2 positions. They started 8th and 9th, respectively. Positions that they made were this vultured from the problems from I.M. Keeman and Antonio Poveda, who are both out of the race.
And that on the outside was Thomas Seen there,
Yeah.
who spun himself through the Omega. One easy mistake to make. A little bit too fast at the entry. You have to brake too much through the Omega and around. She goes. No harm, no foul. Lars Hung, though, very close on the back now of Iker Estefania, and that might actually pose some problems for him into turn 1.
Much closer than he was last lap. Only 3 car lengths back, now 2 car lengths back. He has a lot of momentum. If he wants the pass, he can have it. Actually, he's getting to him too fast as he gets to him into the corner. He moves to the outside. Now let's see if there's enough straight line speed from that car on the outside line, or did he use up all of his stuff? Yeah, it kind of stalls. The defensive line from Estefania, and Hung's not going to be able to get the pass made. Actually, I honestly think he got there too fast as he caught up behind him in the corner. Had to pull out too soon and lost all of his steam.
Not only that, but it also seems like Lars Hung is racing quite some considerable amount more downforce than Iker Estefania, because Lars Hung also did lose out on the straight line on the top speed compared to Iker Estefania, who had the higher top speed and actually was able to pull clean of Lars Hung into turn 1.
Our director found another battle we can go to. Let's drop back to 9th position. This is Mukrani in a battle with the Stelton Pool. Mukrani in the white car, Stelton Pool in the... Oh, Lord help me. It's got to be red. Yeah, thank you. Got one right.
And you were able to see it on top of your screen. Xaviros with another fastest lap at 107.719, about 3/10 faster yet again than Marcus Sanfilippo. And it comes a little bit down to Groundhog Day, but at this point I'm a tiny bit surprised that Xaviros is able to keep up this pace and not make a single mistake so far.
It really is. If you've been following this series all season long, you know that don't leave yet, because Xavier Ross is not immune to making a mistake often while he is leading.
Someone who just made a mistake was Cherry Forkop. You were able to see it on the right side of your screen. He binned it out onto the oval, crawls back onto the pit lane now.
He was racing in 11th position. I believe it was the last car out there.
There we were able to see the aftermath. There we go, just on the throttle. And there she goes around now.
Coming in for the pit box, probably in his window, although I think he has called it a day.
He climbed out of his car and retired it,
Yep.
so that leaves now only 11 drivers to race.
3 of those we've been covering up in front. Ross, Sanfilippo, and Seeger. Seeger now about 5 seconds behind Ross. Nobody in contention has made a scheduled pit stop yet.
And
And clearly, I think you nailed it, Stefan, when you talked about the setup on Hung's car. Look at this. He gathers them up as a mistake from Estefania. Another mistake from Estefania.
And here he comes once again down the turn 2 entrance to go now down to turn 1 of the oval, obviously. The last corner
Here he
of
comes.
this road course. And let's see on that top speed. There you can see now he stalls out, and now
Got him.
Eker doesn't start the pull because Eker slots in behind. Very interesting.
He sure did. As the cloud rolls over Indianapolis now, puts the track under shade. Hung clearly racing with a lot of downforce, which kind of falls into his strategy of just keeping the car pointed in the right direction. All right, here's his other battle back here.
Yeah, nothing
Still
has
a little
changed.
surprised
up
he might-
front.
Oh, there's a mistake right in front of him for Mukrani, but let's see if Stelton Pool capitalizes on it. He's not going to.
You can see how gingerly these two are racing here. If you really don't know much about setting up a car, especially a F1 car, you are gonna struggle here. 4 grip, 4 speed for pretty much anything that you find valuable about racing a car on a track. And these two are showing that, but you still can produce some great racing, especially down in the order if you find someone else, as these two are proving currently on the track.
One of the nice things is when the event doesn't split, we get to see all the drivers, and we get to see some of the drivers that we usually don't see, like Mukrani and Stelton Pool. Welcome to the broadcast. Mukrani's got to be saying when he watches this on the rebroadcast when the race is over, and you had the camera on me for 30 seconds, you caught my one mistake. Nice recovery, though. Working lap number 18. 19. We'll drop in on the driver in 3rd position. Again, depending on your point of view, he could be your points leader. Closing in on Marco Sanfilippo.
Yeah, and the thing is, both of them start to make mistakes. We're already on lap 19 of this motor race, about 20 minutes into this race already. So we are not all that far away from the halfway point, which is lap 24. And these guys are already starting to struggle with their tires because of how low grip this is. You really need to treat your tires good here, so you have the valuable stuff at the end still, so he can push someone. And Thomas Seeger seems to have more in his back pocket right now than the driver of Marco Sanfilippo.
Both these guys losing touch with Ross is really picking him up and putting him down right now. You know, both the San Filippo boys, the season has really come around for these guys. Early on, they were racing outside of the top 5, but as of late, they've been very competitive.
Yeah, let's not forget about the Nürburgring, where Danilo Sanfilippo was even racing outside of the top 10. So he really made a recovery, especially last round at Imola.
Closest battle out there for second, Sanfilippo and Seeger. They both need to make a stop, as does everybody else. Let's go ahead and check in on 6th position. Update you here. Once Hung got around Estefania, Lars was able to drive away. Estefania kind of surrendered that spot going down into the first corner. He must have been able to read the writing on the wall and said, okay, go around me.
Makes me wonder if Iker Estefania also has some underfloor damage because of his many mistakes so far and the excursions into the green stuff here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, because he really is starting to struggle not only for lap time speed but also a little bit for his top speed, of which he lost about 2-3 miles per hour since the last check.
Let's check in on 2nd position. They're coming up on some lap traffic. They were just able to negotiate around McCroney, who races in 10th. Next up for them is Steldenpool. Now, Steldenpool did a good job of getting out of the way of Ross. Jan pulled the car over, and there was no problem there. But now there's going to be a little different of a story because Sanfilippo and Ziegler are in a battle.
They are coming on him, though. I thought for a second Marcus Sanfilippo was going to go into pit lane. They're coming up on him, though, right now on the straight, but I think they're not close enough for Steldenpool to let them by, so that might happen through the Omega.
They go into the first corner. Maybe they'll catch him on the backstretch, but nope, they're going to catch him right now. Still, look at this. Nice job. Well done. He's able to let those guys go by, and he's still able to keep his gap on Mukrani. That's how you do it. Tip of the hat to Jan Steldenpool there. Nice back marker work.
Oh, and I just saw it. Thomas Seen once again. A little spin for him. No harm, no foul. Way away from everyone else right now. A lap down. Coming to 2 laps down as Saviros closes in on him with 107.4 for him on the last time. To compare that, seems like Sanfilippo made a mistake there.
They come back out. Sanfilippo makes a little mistake. That brings Seeger in now. Seeger's got to run. I think he's too far back to make a stab. It's going to be a late move as ever.
You think so?
He's going to have to dive it in deeper. Look at the defensive line. I think you're right, Stefan. The defensive line from Sanfilippo. Seeger now to the outside. Cannot finish the job, but he made a stab. And just behind these guys, as Sanfilippo and Seeger were going into the first corner, Steldenpool wrecked it on the front straight. There he is.
That looked like a little bit of tension failure. Medi Mukrani really lucky there, but yeah, he just didn't turn enough and then stopped turning nearly completely and clatters that wall as if it was Ralf Schumacher.
All right, we come back live, so we lose another driver out there. All this going on behind Xavier Ross. The good news for Ross is, as the attrition continues, there's less lap cars for him to deal with.
And to quickly finish up on the point that I wanted to make between Sanfilippo and Xavier Ross. Xavier Ross still pulls about 4 to 6/10 on the battle between Sanfilippo and Seeger and himself. So Xavier Ross, so far, so clean, so fast.
7 cars on the lead lap. We'll go back and look at Marco Sanfilippo. This is the best battle out here. Seeger is faster. He's made mistakes. He's able to run him down. Made a stab the last lap in the first corner. Wasn't able to get it done.
And in case you were wondering, what does he mean with Ralf Schumacher? Well, just Google Indianapolis Ralf Schumacher 2004 and 2005, where he crashed twice due to tire failures because of the nature of this track. As Xavier Ross actually pits now.
Yeah, we're going to have a new leader here, I think. As Marco Sanfilippo is going to go by and inherit the lead. Seeger stays out there as well. Sanfilippo comes in. Ross is stalled all the way at the very end. Here's a long drive down. And he's going to find his box. It'll be the very last one, right behind the pace car. Goes up on the jacks. That beautiful black and gold machine, and he comes out. Cycling out into 5th position. Right ahead of Icarus Stefania. Boy, this is good news for Ross. He got lucky there. He came out just ahead of Icar, and he doesn't have to deal with making the pass. So now, Sanfilippo and Seeger battle for the lead. There are no bonus points for leading a lap in this series. I said Seeger was too far back to make a stab last time. I was proven wrong. This time I feel comfortable in saying that he is. But he does close up.
Quick note, Lars Hong just also took his pit stop. He now cycled out in 8th place. Oh, big slide from Seeger. Holy mother of slides.
Yeah, my God, he caught it. Woo. Great job. Those hands were quick. You don't often see that in these cars. A lot of times when they get loose, they're gone. Well caught. Might be time for pit stops here, as now that Ross is out there on fresh rubber, he's going to be quick. Not able to put in a qualifying time was Michel Uzel, but he comes in for a stop. He's worked his way up from 14th into 7th position. He misses his pit box. He has to roll back. Lars Hung goes by Uzel. Both those drivers making stops. Boy, look at this. Sanfilippo stays out again. I'm almost thinking if I was Thomas, I might want to come in. Or maybe he's thinking I'll stay out. Maybe he'll do the overcut.
Well, you know, this is one of the tracks where I would actually be thinking and testing out to do a two-stopper, because of how you have to treat your tires to actually be fast. But I'm not sure if that's a viable option in a 40-minute race.
Yeah. Not quite at the halfway mark. Oh, no, we're past the halfway mark, actually. We're in lap number 27. 22 to go.
And Marcus Sanfilippo comes into pit lane. Thomas Seeger stays out, so new leader.
All right.
Thomas Seeger.
He is going to try the overcut. What would be your prediction about an outlap on new tires that are cold? Is that with a hot track? Is that going to be tricky, Stefan, or not so much?
Outlap on this track always is tricky because of how low grip the surface is. Obviously, with the high temperatures, it is going to be more tricky, so you have to be a little bit ginger when applying the throttle for the first 1 to 2 laps.
So this is going to be interesting, as Sanfilippo now has a little bit of an issue. The question is, will Seeger be faster on old tires on this lap, nobody in front of him, than Marco Sanfilippo will be on new tires?
Yeah, and the mistake from Marcus Sanfilippo might actually be what puts the time out for Thomas Seeger. He goes again past the pit entrance.
As he blinks away now, we get him back. He's going to run some hot laps right now. Got to be careful because after a while, those tires are going to heat up for Sanfilippo, and he's just going to be faster. Here comes Danilo. He was racing in a 4th position.
So with Danilo Sanfilippo pitting, he was the second last car to pit. So Thomas Seeger, your only car that still remains to pit.
Ross cycles back now. Waiting for Danilo to roll out. Gotta worry that Thomas has stayed out one too many laps here.
Let's see as he comes through the second last turn. Will Thomas Seeger pit in? And no, once again he goes past.
So let's go ahead and look at their last lap times. Ziegler put in a 1:07.7. Marco put in... Well, I'm not getting, because they're still trying to get out laps, so it's really not really getting a good time.
Yeah, Thomas Seeger with a 1:07.784 and now 1:08.472 as Marco Sanfilippo gets into the last turn now. Let's see, goes past the score tower. He comes over the bricks and it's a 1:08.073. So last lap was faster, but because Thomas Seeger made a little mistake, he lost those 4/10.
It's going to be interesting when Seeger does decide to come in. Couple cars one lap down. This is Estefania and Hung.
That is happening just behind our current leader, who decided once again to go past pit entry. So he's also leading lap 30 of this motor race.
If you thought you watched this battle before, you had. Remember, it was not long ago we saw Estefania just kind of move over and wave Lars by. You look at pit stop times, Estefania was really quick. Actually, Hung was pretty well as well. They're about equal times there. Meanwhile, our leader stays out. He is working lap number 31.
Just lapped Thomasin for the second time.
Yep.
So Thomasin now 2 laps down, but for how long, that is the question, as Thomas Seeger comes out of the second last turn for the 31st time. And this time, though, no more fuel on board. He comes in pit lane.
All right, let's leave the battle we're looking at. Let's pick up Marco Sanfilippo as we see Seeger coming in. Marco on the back straight. Seeger looking to find his box. We'll cover both of these guys. Sanfilippo working through the twisty section. Through that final right-hander now, coming back out onto the oval.
Thomas Seeger coming to his pit stall now. Does he miss it? No, he does not. So that's a point towards Thomas Seeger. Goes off the tracks, off the pit he goes. Long pit lane still up to the cones. He goes off the pit limiter. Where is Marco Sanfilippo? There he is in the background. Thomas Seeger goes up in front though.
And that's how you do the overcut. Now let's see what those new tires, if he can get them warmed up. If Marco Sanfilippo was going to make the pass, this would be the time he wants to do it. Each corner, Seeger's going to feel more comfortable on the rubber he has underneath him. And we expect that Seeger was going to be faster as a rule. He was be able to stay behind Sanfilippo the whole time. Made a couple stabs. He was just waiting, and now he's out in front. We'll see if he can drive away. Quite a distance between Seeger and the leader. And yes, the German driver now out in front. So Ross and Seeger sitting 1-2. If you talk about the best 8 scores, Seeger is your points leader. If you talk about drop races accounted for, Xavier Ross is your point leader. Like my mom said, it'll all come out in the wash as we get closer to the very end of this series. Right on board with Sanfilippo. Seeger's got to be feeling every point is important. A pass by Sanfilippo could be the championship between Seeger and Ross. Not to mention that Sanfilippo is also still in the hunt. When you take drop races into account, he's even closer to Ross than Seeger is. So, no surprise to see all the drivers who are up in the points racing 1, 2, and 3. Let's go to Hung back here looking on the back of Estefania. I think we got a shot at it here, although we know that Lars Hung is very, very conservative. He will not force the issue.
Yeah, he's like your soft-core Kimi Räikkönen in this series. Kimi Räikkönen known for not pushing the issue, but Lars Hung even less pushing the issue.
Considering the driver in the 10 car's name, I just the opportunity. This is low-hanging fruit for me, so I will just move along.
No, you can hang it out there.
Stop! Okay, here we go. Great run here from Estefania and Hung.
And in your scene, you can see the Thomas Steen once again in the kitty litter.
Steen is the man on the scene this race. He always seems to be in our camera. Off track as some of the cars on the lead lap go by. Stay out there, Thomas. You're not causing any trouble. Just keep swimming, baby. So we're looking at these two battles. This battle going on right now for what would be 6th position, and then the other one between Seeger and Estefania. And Sanfilippo. And I really think that Thomas Seeger has that one in control unless he makes a mistake. This one, I think, really is just a matter of time before Hung decides to make this pass. Hung, the last car on the lead lap. There are only 7. 10 cars are racing. Thomasin's going to pull in for a pit stop. Not sure if he's calling it a day or maybe he wants to see if he can get a little more work done on the car. Go back up and look at our leader, Xavier Ross. The Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 10 coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship. And you might be looking at your future champion here, Xavier Ross.
And in behind in P2, or for the battle for P2, Thomas Tiga is starting to ever so slightly creep away from Marcus Sanfilippo last lap, 2/10 in favor of Thomas Tiga.
As we leave Ross and go back and look at that battle for a second, let's give a tip of the hat to Xavier, who has not had his Achilles heel flare up on him today. He has been relatively perfect out there. I don't mean to jinx him. We still have 13 laps to go. And you're right. The German driver beginning to pull away from the Italian driver, Seeger. Now up by almost a second on Marco Sanfilippo. As is so often the case, the Sanfilippo brothers sit close to each other in the timing and scoring. Danello in 4th. There's Marco, and you can see the gap 20 seconds back to Danilo. It's been a quiet race for Danilo. He's really been in 4th position with nobody around him the entire time. Give him a little screen time. He's going to be coming up behind somebody that we've seen a lot of time, mostly in the grass, and that is Thomas Seen. Let's stay on this for a minute, and we'll see how Seen does getting out of the way of Danilo. Seen just took another pit stop. That would be his 2nd of the day. I think he went in for a little extra repairs.
I think his first one was for repairs, and it was super early. So Thomas Seen probably having to pit in now for the fuel required to go to the end.
You know, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what happened. Good call. All right, let's see if Danilo can get there before corner number 1. Might be too far back, but let's see how much straight line speed he has, or if Seen is going to lift for him. Not going to get there this time. Stay on this a bit more, because Seen has been a bit of a exciting driver today. So let's make sure that Danilo gets this done. There we go. So Danilo comfortably now around that back marker, still racing in 4th. All right, we go back in and look at this one. On the outside is Hung making an attack on Estefania. We saw Estefania surrender this position earlier. That was when there was a lot more racing to go. When there's only 11 to go, Iker a little more determined to hang on to that spot. Best battle on the track. We can stay here. Go, Steph.
Iker, like Casillas, saves the ball, saves the position, stays in 6th place. Like a goalie, he defends his P6 with his life. What can Lars Hung do? Seems like he is the faster car. He just has too much downforce, can't get fast enough up to turn 1 to actually make something happen against Iker. But I think it's only a question of time when it will happen, that overtake.
Yeah, he's closer this time than he was last time. He's going to get right up behind him again. Going to swing out of this final corner. He's got a good run. The defensive line from Iker now, they go side by side. This is where Hung's car will stall. We saw that Estefania surrendered the spot earlier, and again, he defends on the inside line. No problem for Hung, though, as that car is well stuck to the ground.
If this would be real-life racing, Lars Hung would already be hung out there because of how little aggression he shows in overtaking someone.
You know, he's really close here. He might have a shot. If he can get a good drive off of here, there might be enough time for him to make a stab into this one. Nope, I don't think so. But again, he's closer even than last lap. He backs off a bit so he can get a good run through here. Hung so much better through the technical section. A bit of a mistake from Iker this time. Boy, he is really on his gearbox now. Here he comes. He's going to get a good run. He's going to catch him right in the corner this time. Coming up on him. He actually may catch him a little bit too soon. He swings to the outside. No way that Iker is going to let him get to driver right. And actually, he did get there too soon, so Hung has to tuck back in. Now let's see if he forces the issue under braking. Nope, that is not Hung's motive.
If he would have stayed with Iker there going to the outside, he would have had the run again. But Lars Hung just stays on the inside there and doesn't do anything with the opportunity given to him because Iker said, now you're not going to catch me. You're not going to do anything. And that's exactly what Lars Hung did.
It really is interesting because if Hung gets a really good run coming back out onto the oval, he catches Estefania in what is corner number 1 on the oval. And he has to wait. He has to time it so he gets up on the gearbox and he can sling out just as they come out of the final corner. We'll watch it one more time because it's fascinating. This time Hung, though, a little farther back, not going to happen. Don't worry, though, he still has 8 more laps to run him down and make a stab. You know, he might not actually have to make the pass. Next time it has to be interesting to see. I guess he has never really got credit for leading at the start-finish line. The point I'm trying to make is maybe he can make the pass coming out of the final corner and slingshot him right at the line. Don't have to worry about doing it down into corner number 1. Not missing anything up front. This is Zave. He is comfortable. 8 seconds.
He indeed is comfortable, but he is running up to the battle that we just left between Lars Hang and Ika Estefania.
Yeah. Kind of hard to judge how long it'll be before he gets there. Estefania has pretty good pace, and I'm not really sure how hard Zave needs to push to get there with an 8-second gap.
Well, he is about 2 seconds faster than these two guys.
Really?
So I'm expecting him to be there in about 3-4 laps time.
That'll be interesting here. Probably be more interesting if I didn't realize what a polite driver Hung was. I don't think he'll really put up much of a fight. Let's go up to Hung now as he's closing in here as they work through the back straight. 6 laps to go. All right, now this is where Hung is strong. He goes through this technical section. He needs to be close enough to be in the tow, but not so close that he catches up onto the back of Estefania through the right-hander here. This one looks pretty good. This one looks real good. Should be able to swing out here on the straight. This is his best position. He actually may lead at the line. He does not. But now they're side by side. They almost touch. Lars, you're going to have to force the issue. Try it under braking. You're good. Pin him down to the inside. He will not do it. Boy, that's some exciting racing, though. And what I talked about, maybe being able to pass him at the line. Estefania led the lap, but it was only by 1/100th of a second.
And because of the fight they had into turn 1, Xavi Ross is already getting quite close. You can see him hit there in the background of these shots when we film them from the front, and Xavi Ross is already probably in blue flag territory for these two guys.
You guys you have my permission to ignore the blue flag, but right now, boy, the gap opens up. Estefania comfortably going to lead this lap. Xavi Ross with the 7.3 second cushion back to Seeger. We haven't shown you much of that Seeger-San Filippo battle, but once Seeger got around him, he was able to drive away. 8-second gap. Xavi gets the pass.
Oh, Lars Hang spun. Lars Hang, too polite, goes all the way to the outside there for Xavi Ross. Because of that, has 2 tires on the grass and on the throttle application, spins it around.
Yep. And that's what it was. It was all about being polite. Boy, he had a hard time getting the car back out on track, too. When he brings it back, he spins it a couple times. Yeah. So the bad news for Hung is he's now out of the competition with Estefania. The good news is he did not lose a position. Interesting, though, he only has about a second on Michel Ussel. So we'll see if Ussel can run him down. I don't think so. We look at our leader, Xavi Ross. As he has got around Estefania now, so clear track ahead for the Spaniard. Spain, Germany, Italy, your top 3 nations. Let's put the camera on 5th position. Have not given a lot of love to the Canadian David Cudmore. Started in 6th, up 1 spot. It has been a very quiet race for David. That's how Canadians like it sometimes, right? Just not causing any trouble, he's out there doing his job. We're right on board with Cudmore. You can see he's almost a full minute behind the leader. And that's Xavi Ross, who's going to be coming across the line right now. 2 to go! The small field kept the excitement at a minimum, but the intrigue and the points is still very, very much in play. As your top 3 in the points, Ross, Ziegler, and Sanfilippo all finish well up.
And that was Mokrani going down a second lap, so we need to have 2 cars 2 laps down. That's Miri Mokrani and Thomas Seen. 10 cars still remain on the racetrack, and 5 cars in total remain on the lead lap.
With David Cudmore being the last of those 5. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. If you're a fan of open-wheel driving, open-wheel racing, make sure you check in with us later tonight, as GSRC will be covering a full-length Indy 500 in the majors. White flag for Xavi Ross. Final lap for Ross. And just for fun, he has a little bit of a squiggle there on his final lap. Come on, Xavi. You've kept it clean the whole way. Probably one of your best races this season. Just a few more corners to go.
Dominant and clean, leading from wire to wire. Xavi Ross really, truly did put up the show today.
Final technical section here to go. The Sharp is right-handed now. It'll ease him back out onto the oval. We are at the Brickyard. Round number 10 of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship goes to Xavi Ross. Thomas Ziegler out of the final corner will get second, well ahead of Marco Sanfilippo. His brother Danilo coming out onto the oval right now. A very quiet fourth for him. There's the second Italian driver. Go, Seth.
After Danilo overtook David Cudmore for the P4, he was gone from them, not able to keep up with the speed the top 3 showed. So Danilo Sanfilippo finishes in no man's land in 4th position. Same with David Cudmore down in 5th place.
The racing is over here at Indianapolis, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to a few of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC on IESN. From the historic the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's the Global Sim Racing Channel's Round 10 coverage of the Batteries Not Included 2019 Spring Season Championship. The results are in. Let's give them to you right now. 15 drivers took to the grid. 5 of them finished on the lead lap. They were Xavi Ross, who was first to do it. Thomas Seeger comes home in second. The Sanfilippo brothers, Marco and Danilo, go third and fourth. David Cudmore, the Canadian, is the last car on the lead lap in fifth. The next 5 is Iker Estefania, as he comes in sixth position, able to hold off Lars Hung, who spun there late in the race, who has to settle for seventh. Michelle Ussel goes from 14th up into 8th. Ninth position is Mitty Macrani and Thomas Sane. We saw him race a lot. He's in 10th. Steph, who's the rest of the guys?
Well, the rest of the guys all have a DNF to their name. Jan Steltenpool in 11th, Joe Falkop 12th, I am Keyman 13th, Antonio Ortiz Poveda wrecking out, not even getting to turn 1 down in 14th, and Mustafa, and after internet connection issues, he did not take the green flag today.
And we have nobody in our interview booth, so what we'll do is just wrap it up here today. We'd like to thank everyone in the Williams community for making this possible, especially Clayton McLeod for organizing the series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. On the screen now are some of the companies that provide software and hardware GSRC uses to stream cyberspace into your place. Additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen to get a hold of more of her great work. The Batteries Not Included returns in 1 week. That'll be round 11 from Monza. GSRC and iRacing will be there. We hope that you join us. If you haven't done so yet, visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media, Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. All the upcoming races for our other series are listed on your screen, so check them out and mark them down on your calendar so you don't miss another second of exciting racing. Also, if you haven't done so yet, become a YouTube subscriber by heading over to our YouTube page and clicking that big red button. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, that would be Stefan, Sean, and Dougie, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, as it was indeed the Spaniard Xavi Ross picking up another win and getting a little closer to that championship here at Indianapolis. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle, so until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.